האם זה באמת סגולה בדוקה? הסגולה ללמוד בזה?
Good evening, Erev Tov, Dobra V'Yetzer. We are in the Zera Shimshon on Parshas Toldos. We're going to do Os Yud Dalet, section number 14. Before we begin, let us take a look at two psukim from our parsha and then one pasuk from last week's parsha Chayesara. Here come the two psukim from Parshas Toldos. This is Perek Chav Zayin, psukim Chav Vav and Chav Zayin. Vayomer Elov Yitzchak Aviv, and Yitzchak his father said to him, Gisha na, approach now, ushaka li beni, and kiss me, my son. Vayigash vayishak lo, now this is Yaakov came and approached his father Yitzchak and kissed him. Vayorach es reach bigodov, vayivarchehu. And he smelled the fragrance of his clothing, and he blessed him. Vayomer, and he said, the he here is Yitzchak. He said, Re'eh, see, reach beni, the fragrance of my son, kereach sodeh, is like the fragrance of a field, asher berecho Hashem, that Hashem has blessed. So that's two psukim from Toldos about Yitzchak blessing Yaakov Avinu. Now, if we look back in Chayesara, this is Perek Chav Hey Pasuk Yud Aleph. Vayehi acharei mos Avraham, and it was after the death of Avraham. Vayevorech Elokim es Yitzchak beno. Hashem blessed Yitzchak Avraham's son. Vayeshev Yitzchak im Be'er Lachai Roi, and Yitzchak dwelled at Be'er Lachai Roi. So back in Chayesara, after Avram's death, Hashem blesses Yitzchak, and here towards the end of Yitzchak's life, he blesses Yaakov Avinu. Let's see what the Zera Shimshon is going to say about all this. Os Yadalid, Medrash, the Medrash Yalkut Shimoni quotes our pasuk, Vayorach es reach bigodav, and he smelled the fragrance of his clothing, meaning Yitzchak smelled the fragrance of Yaakov's garments. Al tikre bigodav, don't read that word, meaning you don't have to limit yourself to reading the word as his garments, ela bogdav, but you could read it as his traitors, meaning that Yitzchak, when he smelled the garments of Yaakov, understood that there would be evil people, wicked people that would come out of Yaakov's descendants, meaning Jewish people, and he said that even they give off a good fragrance, and gave the bracha to Yaakov. Kosher, this is difficult, as Zera Shimshon says. Shahare Perish Rashi al Pasuk Vayevarach Elokim es Yitzchak beno. Rashi back in Chayesara on the Pasuk we looked at, where it says Hashem blessed Yitzchak after Avraham died. Sha'avraham lo rotza levarech es Yitzchak. Rashi says an amazing thing. He says that Avraham did not wish to give a bracha to Yitzchak, hoil shetzafa she'asid lotzeis mimenu Esav, because Avraham was able to foresee that in the future Esav would come from his son Yitzchak. Yitzchak would, of course, have Yaakov, but he would also have Esav, and Avram could foresee that, and therefore Avram was concerned about giving a bracha to Yitzchak that Esav in the future could benefit from. Who knows what a person like Esav could do with the bracha, with powerful brachos that Avram could have given to Yitzchak. The Kahn afilu shera'a bogdav, but here in our parsha of Toldos, Chazal is teaching us that even though Yitzchak saw the bad people, the evil people that could come and would come out of Yaakov's descendants, nonetheless, Berchehu, nonetheless, he blessed him. So what we have is a question, kind of an apparent contradiction between the behavior of Avram, the decision of Avram Avinu, that we see in Parshas Chayesara to withhold certain blessings from Yitzchak and to rely on Hashem, so to speak, to give those blessings. And that's what Hashem did. Hashem came and gave the blessings after Avraham died to Yitzchak, but Avram was concerned about giving those blessings to Yitzchak because of the future Esav coming. And on the other hand, we're contrasting, Zera Shimshon is contrasting that with the decision here that Yitzchak would give to Yaakov, would bless Yaakov, even though evil people would come out, and of course in the future among Yaakov's descendants. So why did Avram handle it his way and withhold the blessing, and Yitzchak decided to handle it his way and give the blessing to Yaakov, knowing about Bogdav, the traitors of the future, the traitors to the Jewish people, the wicked Rishoyim among the Jewish people in the future. Moving to the column on the left, V'yesh lomar, we can say, Shemei Esav, from Esav, Nishtar Biva Umas Edom. From Esav developed the nation of Edom, meaning it's not that Esav was part of the Jewish people and from his descendants there were some not nice Jews. No, from Esav came an entirely different alien nation, the nation of Edom. V'shayni bein poshe umos ha'olam lefoshe Yisrael, and there is a dramatic difference between sinners of the outside world and sinners among the Jewish people. They should not be compared. Dichsiv, as the pasuk says, this is a famous source that's quoted in Chazal in various places. It comes, as you can see, from a pasuk in Shir Hashirim. Now we know in Shir Hashirim at least the basic two levels on which the text is understood is the very simple level where it appears to be a person praising the beautiful qualities of a woman, and then we understand that these are the qualities that Hashem is praising in Klal Yisrael, and sometimes Klal Yisrael praising about Hashem. So we're going to see how this pasuk we're about to read can be understood on those two levels. So the pasuk says, "Kefelach harimon rekasech." Your temples, meaning that part of the face around your eyes, that area of your face, is like a piece of a pomegranate, an open slice of a pomegranate, meaning just when you cut open a pomegranate, picture how juicy and red it is. So the pasuk is saying that the person who's being described, their face around their eyes is red and juicy and healthy and beautiful. That's on the simplest level. However, Chazal say, what does that mean? What's really being said? Afilu rekonin sheboch. Even, Hashem is saying about the Jewish people, even the rekonin, connected to the word rekosech, even the empty ones, the worthless, those who are considered worthless and empty among the Jewish people, Meleim mitzvos, even they are filled with mitzvos, karimon, like a pomegranate from a Gemara in Brachos, as you can see. So that's the first reason. We're going to see three reasons why Jewish people who go bad, or who are bad, who are sinners, are worlds apart, cannot in any way be compared to the sinners of the Ummos HaOlam, especially in this case, the sinners that come from Edom, from Esav. So number one, the pasuk is telling us that even the most apparently or seemingly worthless Jewish people who have no value, seemingly, that's a mistake to think that way, because they are like a slice of a rimon. They are filled with mitzvos. They do mitzvos and are filled with mitzvos like a pomegranate. Ve'od, another point. Poshe Yisrael ein or shel gehinom sholetis bohem. Sinners among the Jewish people, the fire of Gehenna has no power over them. Another teaching from Chazal, you can see the next line, this comes from a Gemara in Maseches Chagiga. Kal v'chomer mi salamandra, and this is learned in the Gemara from a creature called a salamandra. We would be tempted to call it a salamander. That in the Gemara it says fire doesn't have any power over it. And the Gemara over there says, so too, fire doesn't have power over the Talmidei Chachamim of the Jewish people. And then the Reish Lakish in the Gemara adds on, not only that, but the fire of Gehenna doesn't even have power over the sinners, the Poshei Yisrael among the Jewish people. So obviously, we have to change and improve our opinion amongst the Rishayim, the wicked of the Jewish people, because we're being told, A, that they do lots of mitzvos, even though we might not realize that or appreciate that, and B, the fire of Gehenna has no power even over the Rishayim, the wicked of the Jewish people. Ve'od, and another point, the Maisi Hasan b'Medrash that is brought over there in the Medrash, the Yalkut Shimoni that we talked about moments ago. Next page, column on the right. Gaon Yosef ben Meshisa shechazar b'tshuva. The Medrash brings an example of a very, very bad man, seemingly Yosef ben Meshisa, and it says even he who was so bad and was considered a hopeless reprobate, someone who was nothing good was going to come out of this person. That's what people thought. Shechazar b'tshuva. He became a Baal Tshuva and he became a righteous person. So that's the third reason why you cannot compare the sinners of Bnei Yisrael to the sinners of the Umos HaOlam. Umishum hachi, and because of this, Vayevarchehu Vayomer Re'eh, Yitzchak gave the bracha to Yaakov, and he said, look and see the fragrance of my son, and not just the fragrance of the righteous, of his descendants, but the fragrance comes even from the evil ones, the traitors, because they also are worthy individuals, and in no way should they be compared to Esav and Edom, his nation Edom. And so when Avram Avinu chose not to give certain brachos to his son Yitzchak because of he could see what was coming with Esav, that is totally different than Yitzchak's choice to give the brachos to Yaakov, because he knew that everyone coming from Yaakov would be part of the Am Hashem, the nation of Hashem, Am Yisrael, and even the wicked, for three reasons and perhaps many more, are in no way comparable to and as no way as bad as the wicked of the Umos HaOlam. That's the first point that the Zera Shimshon wants to make, and now he's going to take a look at the next statement in the Medrash that he quoted. The Isas Sham v'Medrash, and it is also stated there in the Medrash and the Yalkut Shimoni. This is an entirely new approach to understanding the pasuk. Re'ei reach b'ni. Yitzchak said, see the fragrance of my son. Melame, this teaches us, Shehere lo HaKadosh Baruch Hu Beis HaMikdash. This teaches us that Hashem showed to Yitzchak an image of the future Beis HaMikdash, Banoi, what it looked like when it was built, V'chorav, and what it looked like when it was destroyed, Uvanoi, and what it looked like when it was rebuilt. So Hashem showed to Yitzchak at this time, at this moment, at this powerful moment, Hashem showed Yitzchak Avinu in images of the Beis HaMikdash when it would first be built in all its glory, and then what it would look like in its desolation after it was destroyed, and then Vanoi, and then what it would look like when the second Beis HaMikdash would be rebuilt. Re'ei reach b'ni. So Yitzchak says, look at the fragrance of my son, Harei Banoi. That is referring to the image of the Beis HaMikdash built. And apparently what it means is when the Beis HaMikdash was built, of course, they brought korbanos. That's what they did in the Beis HaMikdash. And there was a reach nichoach, there was a fragrance that Hashem, of obedience to Hashem and the careful, meticulous bringing of the korbanos, that brought a fragrance to Hashem because the Jewish people were fulfilling Hashem's will and doing his mitzvos and bringing the korbanos in the Beis HaMikdash. So that's what Yitzchak was referring to when he said, Reach b'ni, the fragrance of my son, the fragrance of the Beis HaMikdash and its glory. Kareach Sadeh is like the fragrance of a field. Hare Chorev, referring to a field, means what was left after they destroyed the Beis HaMikdash. Then it wasn't a beautiful edifice. It wasn't a magnificent structure, awe-inspiring temple. Rather, it was a field. The Beis HaMikdash had been destroyed. So that's what Yitzchak was alluding to when he said, Kareach Sodeh, like the fragrance of a field. And then the pasuk continues, Asher Beiracho Hashem, that Hashem blessed. That alludes to the Beis HaMikdash after it was rebuilt. V'kosher, there's a difficulty, a problem. V'ma inyan re'iyah zo b'shah zo. What is the connection between these images and what Yitzchak was seeing at this moment of blessing his child? How are those things connected? V'od, and another thing, milas re'eh miyuterasi. The word see or look seems to be extra. Yitzchak Avinu could have said, the fragrance of my son is like the fragrance of a field that Hashem has blessed, without saying, look, see the fragrance of my son. Why does it say re'eh? So the Zera Shimshon is going to explain the second approach in the Medrash Yalkut Shimoni by bringing in another Medrash. V'yesh lomar, we can say the isa b'Medrash Rabbah. It states in a different Medrash, in the Medrash Rabbah, Al pasuk, on the pasuk. This is a pasuk far from where we are. This is in Shmos. In kesef talve es ami. If or when you lend money to my people, when a member of the Jewish people needs money, and you do the mitzvah of lending that person money to help get them back on their feet. So Kevon Shabana Shlomo, the Medrash states on that pasuk, Kevon Shabana Shlomo is Habayis, when Shlomo built the first Beis HaMikdash, Omar b'tfiloso, he said in his tefillah, Ribon ha'olam, master of the world, Im yesh adam sheyispalel lefanecha shetitein lo mamon. If a person davens in front of you, that you should give that individual money, V'ata yodea sheralo oso hamamon, and you know that person, that would be bad for that person to receive the money. So a person is davening for money, and maybe they're saying to Hashem, and they're davening, Hashem, please give me this money. I need it so badly to take care of my family and to do mitzvos and to help other poor people. Please give me this money that I'm asking you for. But if Hashem sees that the person is actually going to do bad things with the money and bless and giving this person this wealth that he or she is asking for will actually not be good for them, al titen lo, don't give it to him. Shlomo Melech said in his tefillah, in his tefillos at the time of the building of the first Beis HaMikdash. Ume'ata, and now Bishah zo shehaya Yitzchak nosein lo abrachos, at the time that Yitzchak Avinu was giving the blessings to Yaakov Avinu, herelo Beis HaMikdash banoi. He showed him an image of the Beis HaMikdash when it would be built. Ve'omar lo, and he said to him, Re'ei, see, afal pi shani mevorechoscha, even though I am blessing you, this is Yitzchak talking to Yaakov, his son, even though I'm giving you the brachos, v'zaracha, for you and your children, be'osher u'v'mamon u'nechasim, I'm blessing you with wealth and money and property, im zeha osher lo yatov l'chol u'vanecha, if this money and wealth and property will not, in certain situations, at a certain point, if it will not be good for you, if it'll be bad for you, if it'll lead you away from Hashem instead of closer to Hashem, then I do not wish my blessing to be fulfilled. And this was similar to the tefillah that Shlomo made at the time of the building of the Beis HaMikdash. So Zera Shimshon says it wasn't just an issue of Hashem showing these images of the Beis HaMikdash built in its glory and destroyed and rebuilt to Yitzchak at this time. Yitzchak shared these images with Yaakov and spoke to him about them, and he said, look in the future, your descendants, the blessings I'm giving you will lead to your descendants having a golden age, the age of the Beis HaMikdash. But unfortunately, sometimes brachos of wealth and property in a golden age can be misused, cannot be adequately appreciated, and can become a problem. And then that can lead, God forbid, to the destruction and the end of this golden age, as we continue in the next paragraph. V'od herulo beis hamikdash chorav. And then Yitzchak showed Yaakov Avinu an image of the Beis Hamikdash after it was destroyed. Mishum di'amrina b'perek tes brachos, because Chazal say in the 9th chapter of Maseches Brachos, miyom shenecharav Beis Hamikdash, from the day that the temple was destroyed, the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed, nigzira gezera, a decree was made, al batehen shel tzadikim sheyeh charvu, on the homes of the tzaddikim, that they would also be destroyed. Dayola eved shiyeh kirabo. It is sufficient for an eved to be like his master, meaning if HaKadosh Baruch Hu's home was destroyed, if the Beis HaMikdash was destroyed, then we, the Jewish people, who are the avodim, the servants of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we can't have a better situation. We can't live in beautiful homes at the time when the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed. So therefore, the homes of the tzaddikim were also destroyed. Even though they were righteous individuals, their homes were destroyed at the time that the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed. Sha'af ba'oso azman, even at that time, lo yuchlu lihiskayim habrachos kisikunum, the blessings would not be able to be fulfilled the way they were intended. So the Zera Shimshon ends a little abruptly here. So let's just make sure we understand the approach in the second approach in the Medrash that he's describing and explaining for us. Again, a totally different approach. The first approach had to do with the Yitzchak Avinu kind of saying, even though he knew in the future there would be evil people, bad people, wicked people coming out of his son Yaakov, out of the descendants and the Jewish people. Nonetheless, he said they also have a reach, they also have a wonderful fragrance of doing mitzvos and of goodness, and so therefore he was able to give Yaakov the brachos with a full heart. This second approach says that Yitzchak Avinu, based on the images that Hashem shared with him at this time of the Beis Hamikdash in its glory, and the Beis Hamikdash being destroyed, and the Beis Hamikdash then being rebuilt, he was cautioning Yaakov, Yitzchak was cautioning Yaakov and saying, I'm giving you the brachos. They're going to lead to amazing, incredible things in the future for your descendants, but there will be times when they will not be able to apply in their fullness. They will not be able to be enjoyed properly the way they're intended. Times such as when the Beis Hamikdash is destroyed, and times when even the homes of tzaddikim are destroyed. So don't think, Yaakov, that everything is going to be peaches and cream for all of the future. Everything is going to be perfect. I'm giving you these brachos, and there will be amazing, wonderful, beautiful, magnificent times, but there will be also times of churban, of destruction, and of suffering, unfortunately, that will come to the Jewish people as well if they do not use the blessings, the wealth, the generosity of Hashem in the way that they should. Yashar Koch for joining in the learning in the Zera Shimshon this week. We look forward to learning again, Be'ezus Hashem, next week in the Zera Shimshon again.